Good day, everyone. So, I'll be presenting the first part of the organizational processes. So, first, an organizational process, it is a general view of your organization that describes the following. So, it answers the questions why your organization exists, what way it is planned and structured, what is your position in your organization, and why management functions are developed. So the organizational process sequence are the mission, vision, and then the business definition are the core values, strategy, structure, system, process, jobs, and tasks. Under the strategy part, we have the corporate, business, and functional. And then we also have types of structure, which are simple, tall, flat, and adhorocracy. We have also types of systems, simple, complex, open, and closed system. And then under the processes are planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. Then we have the job, the task, and then the output or the outcome. First, let's have the organizational process, which is the vision. So, a vision is a goal that is massively inspiring, overacting, and long term. So, a vision statement also is formal statement of what business wants to be. And vision statement is the eyes and the mind of the company. So, it answers also the questions na bakit nag-exist yung company or the organization, and then ano yung gustong ma-achieve ng company na yon in the future. So, a vision may or may not success depend on whether everything else happens according to a firm's strategy. So, kinuha ko yung vision statement ng Department of Education since we are all teachers. So, sabi dito, we dream of Filipinos who passionately love their country and whose values and competencies enable them to realize their full potential and contribute meaningfully to building the nation. As a learner-centered public institution, the Department of Education continuously improves itself to better serve its stakeholders. So next we have the organizational process. So the mission naman. So the mission is the short summary of one organization's core purpose, focus, and aims. So kung kanina ang vision statement is the eyes and the mind of the company, etong mission statement naman is the heart and the hand of the company. So sinabi siyang hand of the company because it is action-oriented, declaring the purpose of organization. So, nandito nakapaloob yung action na gagawin ng organization to achieve the goal. So, it also explains what the company want to do for the customers and other stakeholders so that the company can achieve its vision easily. So, the mission statement also answers the questions, ano yung purpose ng company or existence of the company. So again, kinuha ko yung mission statement ng Department of Education. So the mission statement of Department of Education state that to protect and promote the right of every Filipino to quality, equitable, culture-based, and complete basic education where students learn in a child-friendly, gender-sensitive, safe, and motivating environment. So teachers facilities learning and constantly nurture every learner. Administration and staff as steward of the institution ensure an enabling and supportive environment for effective learning to happen. Family, community, and other stakeholders are actively engaged and share responsibility for developing lifelong learners. So, kung mapapansin nyo, nandito kung ano yung gagawin or action na gagawin ng Department of Education to achieve their goal. Next, we have the organizational process, the core values. So, a core values, it is statement which conveys the values and priorities of the company. So, eto naman yung soul ng company. So, it is short, clear, and powerful. So, ano ba yung core values ng Department of Education? So, core values ng Department of Education is makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan, and makabansa. So, yung core values, sinabi siyang soul of the company kasi it defines how the company or the staff behaves. Kahit walang nakatingin sa kanila, dapat makatao, makadiyos, makakalikasan, and makabansa yung mga staff ng Department of Education. Okay, so let's move on to the strategy. So, ano ba yung strategy? So, strategy, ito yung mga techniques na gagawin ng company or organization para mapaganda yung position or image ng company sa marketplace. So, strategy is the grand plan of the organization or the company. So, it is also integrated and coordinated set of actions to achieve goals and objectives. So, strategy is just a plan until you have actions. Strategy can be divided into three. We have the corporate strategy, business strategy, and functional strategy. So again, we have 3 levels of strategy. So, ang pinakamataas dito is the corporate strategy. And then, yung pinakamababa is the functional strategy. So, in corporate level or sometimes natawag din itong strategic level. So, in this level where topmost of the management will be sitting and taking different types of decisions. Kapag sinabing topmost level, andito yung mga CEOs, the board of directors. So, dito nila pag-uusapan whatever they are going to enter into the marketplace or hindi. Sila din yung magde-decide what business arenas they are going to compete. So, what products, what services, etc. Next is the business strategy. So, in the business strategy, or sometimes tinatawag din management level, so, in this level, basically concerned with how to compete with the competitors. So, they are more into taking control or decision how to have an advantage over the competitors. The next stage or the lower stage is the operational or the functional level. So in this level, it is a day-to-day management strategies of the organizations. So they are concerned with the human resource strategy or marketing strategy. So andito yung HR, so sila yung nagde-decide whether to hire the person or not. And then what are the requirements for hiring. So as the level goes up from the functional strategy or functional level to the corporate level, so the responsibility also goes up or there is an increase of responsibility. Next is the structure. So structure follows a strategy. Sinasabi that a successful organization structures define each employee's job and how it fits within the overall system. So, nagiging successful lang daw yung organization kapag may proper structure. So without a proper organizational structure, the employees may face difficulties while reporting. So kanino ba sila magre-report, lalo na pag madaming mga nagfi-feeling boss. But having a great structure in an organization can provide clarity for everyone at every level. So maayos yung chain of command. So we also have different types of structures. It can be simple, hierarchical, adhorocracy, and matrix. So let's have first the simple type of structure. So etong simple type of structure is mostly used by the small organization. So it has only few departments and does not have a formal departments or layers of management katulad ng ibang parts or types of structure. The strength of this type of structure is that the business owner have a tight control over his or his company. So alam niya kung ano yung mga decision making or mga important decision na gagawin ng company. So no decisions are made without the owner's approval and lahat aware siya sa mga important decision na gagawin ng company. Next is the hierarchical type of structure. So often depicted as pyramid because there are multiple levels of authority with the highest level of leadership at the top, their direct employees below them, and so forth. So, ito yung parang pa-pyramid type ng structure. So, itong structure na to is common type of organizational structure. And then, employees are grouped and assigned as a supervisor. Some employees may be grouped together by their role or function, type of product or services they provide, and yung mga specialties ng employees. Example, merong finance department, sales department. So, based dun sa service na pinoprovide nila, sila ginugroup. Next is the adhorocracy. So, this type of structure is a flexible structure that morphs to meet needs and decisions are devolved and coordination relies on good communication. So this type of structure, so the information flow takes place in all direction. And common tong adhorocracy structure in smaller organizations. So where managers are still able to comprehend and direct the organization when necessary. So example, or company na may adhorocracy culture is yung Google. Next type of structure is the matrix. So this type of structure resembles as a grid in which employees with similar skills are grouped together and report to more than one manager. So unlike dun sa hierarchy structure, meron silang isang pinaka-boss. So in this type of structure, meron yung isang employee, meron siyang madaming boss or mag-report siya in more than one manager. So this type of structure is common or used by the large multinational organization and promotes also this type of structure promotes the sharing of skills and knowledge across all departments to complete the goals. So this type of structure promotes a flexible work environment and fosters a balanced decision making. Okay, now for the organizational process, so the system. For the system, it is easier to think in terms of the human body. So our human body is composed of many systems. Example, we have the cardiovascular system, digestive system, and etc. So cardiovascular system is fairly independent, but it is also dependent on the other systems of energy. So ganun din sa system in terms of the organization or in business. So in business, we have systems such as HR, operational, finance, marketing, and etc. And these systems can be simple, complex, open, or closed system. So in a simple system, so the owner has all the power in terms of decision making, and he has a tight control over his or her company. So unlike with the complex system wherein there are board members or other shareholders that need to agree before making any decision. Then we also have open or closed system. So a closed system typically does not possess the capacity to change, and it lacks of structural mobility. So unlike with the open system, it does have the capacity to change. It can change based on what the circumstances. It can change the structure or depends on the needs of the organization. Now let's have the process. So a process is a set of logical activities that lead to some final output. So example, a manufacturer or organization wants to provide a service. So there is a logical sequence. So that organization should plan, the resources should be coordinated, the manpower should be sufficient, and etc. So on so forth. Actually, this process is already discussed during our first meeting. So we have the planning, the organizing, staffing, directing or leading, and controlling. So first, we have the planning. So in planning, the steps involved in planning are collecting information, fixing the long-range objectives, evaluate the action patterns, and finding out the limitations. So in other words, the planning is the process of looking forward. So it helps in determining the course of actions to be followed. And of course, the planning depends on the mental state of the manager. Next is the organizing. So organizing is associated with effective utilization of the resources like manpower, machine, yung mga raw materials, the funds. So lahat ng yon ay need to organize to achieve the objectives or the goal of the organization. So in steps of organizing, so it involves identifying the work to be performed, classifying the work, assigning the group of the individuals to work, delegating the authority, and fixing responsibility. So in this process, sa organizing, andito yung pag-guide, pag-direct, lahat kailangan organized, well-coordinated, even the time kung kailan dapat i-release yung product or yung service. Next is staffing. So, staffing activities involved in staffing are utilize and promotes manpower, selecting and recruiting suitable personnel, placement of manpower, manpower development, training and development of employee. So in staffing, you need to evaluate your staff to work on that project. So sino ba yung Sino-sino ba yung mga tao na suit to work on that project. So without this process, without staffing, other processes like planning, organizing, and control cannot function. Okay, next is directing. So, directing, ito yung tinatawag na the heart of the management process. So, bakit heart of the management process? Kasi dito yung magdadirect ka, instruct, and oversee the staff. So, yung manager is more on involvement talaga sa subordinates niya. So, activities involved in directing are leadership, communication. You need also to motivate the staff. And also, you need to supervise para ma-achieve yung goal or objectives ng organization. Okay, last is controlling. So, controlling is a primary target-oriented function of the management. So, sabi kong ang planning daw is the beginning of the management process. The controlling, it is the final stage of the management process. So, the management or the manager should monitor the activities of his core subordinates. Okay, now we have the jobs and the tasks. So, let's identify ano ba yung difference nung job and task. So, a job and task can both be defined as the work to be done. So, a job may be one job at a time or multiple jobs at a time. And a single job can be called a task. So, each process is made of several jobs. Job is a set of similar activities. So, example, a teacher. So, what are the jobs of a teacher? So, a job of a teacher involves the task of preparing for the class, teaching, making test papers or test questionnaires, correcting papers, and giving feedbacks to his or her students. So, yung task naman, ito yung pag-isa lang yung ginagawa niya. Kaya nga minsan nagsasabi tayo, nag-multitask tayo or we are doing any activities or two or more activities at the same time. So that's it. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.